community end up losing. When events are organized or things are done, conversation should be had. And I mentioned so many communities that are benefiting, so many organizations from different parts of the Africa who come to leverage the services, that we are providing, that complement the work we do, that share the work we do. We share their work, they share our work, they come to us for the services we are providing. We consult with each other and we have a very good relationship. And this is very important. I'm not trying to politicize anything here. But yes, we do have a connection and we do have resources, access to resources and experience that can actually benefit the Gambian community. Is benefiting a lot, but the sad and unfortunate part of it, those who have been polluted to actually believe some things, and it get them to sit back and not come to take advantage of these resources they can as a result of what they are hearing. To be honest, individual Gambians are coming to take advantage of these services. They know about it, they are benefiting from it, and a lot is happening. But I just don't like talking about these things and continue to work and do what we are doing. But how this can benefit the community.
No, totally.
A certain way, and there is nothing here that I cannot justify or prove.
I mean, I think Koya I don't think our purpose here in any shape, way, or form is to sling or just talk bad against anybody. Now that's not the goal. The goal is how do the greater community continue to benefit, not just Gambians, but because your work, it transcends beyond just Gambian community, but also as Gambians, we want to be a huge benefactor of what you're doing, and we are, right? And so I think for especially a lot of young people that come here, especially the new ones that are coming in, it's important for them to understand that nobody wins by us being rivals. We only win by being a united force. We only win by coming together and putting our thoughts together for us to find ways and means to acclimatize ourselves fully in the society and leverage on the tons of resources that are available. And I'm saying this because I understand. I'm going to University of Washington, and part of what I'm studying is non-profit. It's about canvassing. It's about policy work. It's about non-profit work. So I understand the opportunity that is available. And you know this better than me because there's so much that we don't know about. But the reason I think what you've able to do so well is to leverage on your lived experience to put together a team that has the ability to explore those resources and bring them to benefit your community. There is reason why there is so many government associations in America, but there is reason why, your organization is so prominent, right? And I think it speaks for itself. But moving on, on that, and thank you very much for clarifying. This could be uncomfortable, but thank you for allowing me to ask you any question because I do think it's important to bring it up.
Let me just add this. Yemen for Jane, Lafita J, Sene Andilale. Mo because in Banko can cafe battle because nga Ibrahima like lenga do kodo di Ibrahima la. Wala yesi drong ya foko ha ntele nyanta Ibrahima ko nyimunte sawolti. Suma alefla, suma akhala. Ibatu nga nyindila. You have to go look for it. Yeah. There is no resource that comes to anybody on a silver platter. So I want that part to be clear. Pull molia long. Ntelbe menna nakare kuti je. Mabo kuti je. Nyilbeka folenung. They even went the grandmas that you are talking about went to the extent of telling the grandmas molka fo ha al sijeto ale bula Pa Ousman no mani nata lungomene nata kama ibal fana sambalale. These were statements that people were saying to the grandmas to distance them from me and the organization. People went to the extent of meeting grandmas at events and telling them to give them their phones. They took them out of the WhatsApp group that was created for these grandmas. That group is not, Wawa group, by the way. We created it, supported them when the 2020 census was coming. We had some funding that could be used to sponsor their program and other instances, the things they wanted to do. We had a space, they want space, they tell me a space provide. They want to organize events, we help them to organize that event. The conference that they do, other things that they do, we participate in them and support them. But it's not a Wawa group. And thanks that I created it, support them to create it. Alhamdulillah, until this minute is supporting so many people. The grandmas now have a voice. People that would have never imagined engaging with them, that would not have involved them in anything. And I'm saying this because Grandma Alkasile Kanyim Fonong ila meeting also. They go to this house, People say money nagara may ñibi na mairie ñibi dañ ñu sonal dañ li ibe na domorol domokanne ibe sikan na sirangol to. I'm saying this because the grandma sat in meetings in which they shared this themselves to say that in which they're conversing. If Fangolko it's time we stop or minimize going to this house, nkata hewol melto, because he can't disrespect jele. Amanke kontel man dula soton bita daming. Amanke ko man domoro soton na suol kono. Bari ninta ata hewol to kan jibe nyameng ikama nyameng ikakuol mem forma amanke better dingote. Because some of the grandmas were going there and staying longer. You invite 20 people at your event, 50 grandmas showed up to give you a guest of 70 people when you didn't cater for them. And they started having these conversations among themselves until we are not just going to these events because Mandomoro Soto. This is what gave birth to those monthly meetings that we organize for the grandmas and other things. And I started reaching out to some community members who were actually donating and supporting them here and there. This grew to the extent that grandmas can raise Ilafansung Kodol for sign. ICOPS did is fundraising Kununko. Grandmas donated $2,700. Before that, on several other instances, Fangofen Keta Nyimbanko Kang, Ye Kututei, Ye Domandin Soto, Ye Domandin Fefe, It Fangofe, Ya Kafunyoma, Ya Sambaye. All of this thanks to the support that we gave them and we continue to give them through their WhatsApp group. And everybody, anything that is happening in this society side, they have a voice. Ikane Kang. But it will Fangofotajan ha, Nka Kodo Sotole from them. And give them only I was receiving Gil up to $700 to $800 per grandma each month. And where did it come from? For the record in our books, there is no single project that I have ever had. Kodi killing Neneman na wawak. And I am encouraging anybody who wants to take the time to research it. Kodi killing TJ, I'm on record in media time lem Varde Janne. Until this minute today, January 1st to January 11, 2026, there is not a single penny that ever came to Wawak me alonko anata gram mal polela. There is not a single penny. Do I have creative ways and programs and unrestricted money and support that I receive that I can use to organize stuff for them? Or I'm doing a project, an outreach project, and take money from that outreach to organize an event or do something? Yes, but there's not a single money. 70% or more of the programs we are providing at Wawak are underfunded or have no funding. But people see it, they see how established the organization is, the magnitude to which I'm doing things, and yeah, miracle, yes. Kodo binakana be kodo soto kana be nyinke kan imaja ba ta kan be nyinke kan am a salaried person adun kan na salaried drone soto hani bure killing bukana na jibo kono.
And you are audited
this could
too,
be looked
right?
at and seen. Yes.
Yes, and
anybody who wants to see, go to our website. You have access to our website. Go there. You will see our 990s and all the things that we are doing. Kodo membe kana association and how it goes and how it is spent. I'm very transparent. Moma nyinin kaola. Amanke luati mayor for whatever, but I just want to be transparent and apply best practice. Moma nyinin kala. So mol buka si ye lung nene Gambian killing folel na si je inata iko nka kuol moyle about ikamenke. Nko ngana mfango ye nyinin karo kinga kiskiso kinga jibe ibe menna. I was very proud of those people. I forgot who the other person was, but one of them was Koro Jeng. Natalie, he just came to find out, to see what we do. He's hearing a lot of things. But Natalie Kajibe, dafa ñew pour set lan lañu def Koto Jeng rek xawma kenen ki kan bari mo jama be siri be ila sidulal ibe kumol fola ami de men long imam men long an e quand même fo am tonya kutije kodo buka si ay di mola ye kodo kodije anatan te ladulato nga jele ko nyin kodo be janne wala ndafita programme curricula. Either we did a need assessment survey, we did a research study. We just finished doing a research study on the housing needs of the community done by the University of Washington. I have partnership with different schools at UW, from the UW School of Public Health to the UW School of Nursing to the UW to the Evans School to the School of Nursing, digital experience. Both UW Bethel and Seattle and other colleges that we are working with who have students regularly coming to Wawak, conducting needs assessment surveys, conducting research studies, and of course other outreach and content and things that inform our decision. This data has never been in existence about a lot of these things we are saying. So just because ite ibe sirine yela domoro soto ibela dialectic podcast kekan ibela do kola, you are taking care of your family, you don't have a need, doesn't mean that people don't have a need. On a regular basis, tiro buka tambi ntelma motang makoy with different unique needs. Minimum tilo buka tambi motang man na with different hajol nying yala bilo le kuntu ala telephone bilo wala ala kurango ala bunkono kari kilim fula saba amajo yala kurango kuntu nyindo yala jiyo le kuntu nyindo iba evikanne they owe 3-4 months rent, they are on eviction. Nyindo sulata loyal la purka ala kaitol dundi. Nyindo abe domestic violence de balukan. Nyindo la fita dingol le abe sambala damen pour ebe help total damen for after school. Nyindo la fita medical insurance apply la. Nyindo la fita doku la pour nga mako doku apply la. Nyindo la fita la tax de file la. We have a host of projects. This person's problem. Everybody has unique needs. And we try our utmost best. We cannot take care of everybody's needs, but we either have the internal resources or we work with external partners to actually provide some of these things. So all the services we are providing is not because there is funding for it, but and for the record, the first one is Wodomoro Nying, Domoro Meng, 5 years, Mba Dikang, Karokari, Nasaji, 7 to Tang Sang. I want to be on record, Kafoko. Nenaman Kodo sort of for this Domorola and 5 years Mba Dikang. I just been creative, applying partnerships, talking to stores, talking to food banks, talking to other entities, and are able to get these resources. Wow. Until recently, I have $20,000 may along konsa use no. 2 years ago, ngasoto. What can $20,000 do when every food distribution I spend over $1,000 to $2,000 per kasaji yol sang. So is that miracle kodo bejele? Abenin keka no nyadile. Domoro men spent a depasta domoro kama. If it is not up to $1 million, it's over $500,000 over the past 4 or 5 years. But I'm telling you that there is no, money for this. So nimol besiri ya mira kadomoro men dianin senko. I'm being on record saying we did not have any formal funding for this domoro, but people see it consistent, structured, organized, and good. And think kodo bejele ga kodo sora le purkake when I'm telling you here, and anybody can go and do that research. The tax filing I'm telling you is a partnership we're doing with IRS. IRS mang any penny dinna purka okay. The after school program here in Snohomish County, the same thing. All the programs, most of the programs we are doing, I'm doing it in partnership. I have the space, I can pay for the space through different creative means. Okay, ngol sulatanyina, nga volunteer soto, yena, they implement the program. I am able to get other type of resources, nga supply soto jana, nga material soto jana, nga nyin soto, nga na ngake. But I manke ko kodole beje. But a lot of people have those passive belief ko ha. Ne aja be nyin ke kan abe bataka nyin kam manyamen abe kodo soto kan ndabe nyin banko kan sanji muang dol men nata jang sanji kilin sanji fula sanji saba ebe bungol sanna ninte mam bungo sanno sanji muan nim fembe nyin sate okono asike kasiti ni molbe moto sanna mel nata jang kunun ko hani kari woro e maki jang ebe moto dimal sanna ninte mam moto beto sanno fangoye woto le sural ka fo me yes kon man dama yes suma neke America 20 something years munuma jenda moto bu baax pour suma bop ak suma njabot and nga alayen dema nga ngani yosoto. I'm very hard working mbuka ji for 10 11 12 1 o'clock sometimes 2 o'clock suto breno benna. I have a little bit of intelligence nga experience so nyin soto ni wo be nga men soto ntamang fang plan no to do the things that the average person is doing that has been here less than 3 to 5 years, then it will be something. But coming for drunk to close this chapter up, I keep saying, like realistically, until Jero, and I will quote Imam Babali on this Gatele Moinum Birimbe Gambia Akafo Almamo, Akontel Misil Mol, wala Gambian or Leka Mateng, ni be Sadadila, ni koeta Sural Kafo me Juromi Metari Perkal, ni mo fata ikafo 7 yards of, by koyo, ika bade menna. Poplino ha aning 7 bendango aning 7 kandio aning 7 wol moro e mem fo e puriadi e kawo dronne di almamola. And he gave an example of the pastors and people in other religions who actually have salaries and are paid good so that they this thing akoni almamo ni mo fata sate kono iko almamo eta bade ni sango keta ha almamo kulio keta almamo dispute almamo. Basically it's a full-time job for the almamo, including to lead the 5 daily prayers and everything that almamo is doing. But these things nkawo dronne dila mansula men na meatina ikole ninga di abentol sambala nyato ni nyin sada bondi abe kari buru kala wala batina lay visa soto wala nyin doko ke ntel kawo dronne soto. At the end of the day, that's what we gave to the imams. Is the imam not a human being? Don't the imam has a family? Don't they have financial needs? So for molbe lafila le Pa Ousman, honestly tra sirinje atetra bataring I staying anala dimbaya ala musona dingol na bama staying in a 2-bedroom apartment abe daming in Everett for the longest for dingol ye kebaya for ye finti ate moto bete sonna ate fenkela Pa Ousman nyanta tarala to live a very humble and fenkel life, uncomfortable life. Kala family discomfort for the rest of his life while being in the service of community. Or is it okay pour Pa Ousman be mem makoy kang aba nganyo use kang aba taro use kang aba la brain use kang atening fa aka community membe makoy for samanin sining wol si kaytol soto wol si doku wol soto wol si bungol soto no wol si kordal soto wol si business wol lono for Pa Ousman can thrive with those people. Go and ask Dijas Nyol how much business we bring them and connections. Go and ask Heritage Nyol. Go and ask Kairaba Nyol namotol de Kairaba le kadada Gambian organization them. Gambian business all them. Na bookshop melka ke Gambian company leng. Na restaurant on kadomorol order down of Gambian and African company leng. Nka pengo fem membe ke we try to bring business back to the community to support the community. Go and ask these people, they'll verify for you. You come to the events, you see me with them, you see how we interact, you see them at our events. The opportunities that we create for different people. So until nyanta like a tenteng, kak opportunity will create mole, wole thrive, wole sele, nte tara du majana. Is that fair? Well, membe ka fodo abe jeka ngole nyama. That's really my opinion and analysis, my honest opinion and analysis of the whole thing, of how the comments and the things that have been said. Mbukata na kanyin jabi dulato. Inene mamo nga jabi dulato, but it's nyinin kala, and I wasn't expecting it. But nga foela at the beginning, konte mo journalist soldi, nyinin ka fengo fen nga men lonje. What I know about what you ask me is what I'm gonna tell you. And everything I tell you here is based on my truth and facts and experience of the situations and the circumstances that I shared with you. As late as Kunumbirim Ben Kukam, because something happened that I didn't like how it went. And I was thinking, I need to really call Sona, who is the current president of the Gambian organization, and straighten this out. And I want to do it. Everything I said here, I want to do it, and I genuinely mean it, to invite them for a meeting. Because community lebe affected. Member kekang abe community le affected. Now for nyameng, if 2 elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. And it needs to be fixed. If it is fixed, it will be fixed for the greater good. Among fixed, community be lose.
You know, even can journalists hold, and I don't like to I don't like to double in the terrain of journalists, because now if I want to ask a follow-up, I'll definitely say Munebe caring in the Gambian Association tema, and then we get into an issue where now we just have to go on and on. But I'm really curious to understand what's going on, because at the end of the day,
if an exactly, if an
you know, like I think everybody knows that Pa Ousman, you know, more, I feel like they're not sincere enough. You can say everything about you, but I think nobody can take away from you your commitment and your passion and your excellence in what you do. It's not a lot of immigrants that come here and do what you do and have what you have. And one thing I know, I'm not part of your association, but hopefully I can intern with you or do one of my capstones with you or something. But my point really is that you don't do those things in this country and just get away with it like that.
Absolutely.
I think even Momia, so even if you are crazy, you know things don't work like that here. If you're getting a grant, there are conditions for your grant. There are audits that come with the grant that you are getting as well. No matter how wiggle way you get to get compensation for yourself and your staff, look at what is happening in Minnesota. How many Minnesota folks are actually going to jail right now because of the question of fraud that they had to go through? And that's not unique to Minnesota alone, in other states too, right? So I feel like people are welcome to usually criticize, and I'm not making any, you know, like taking any side whatsoever. I'm just saying that it has to be based on merit. Do not just look at Pa Ousman because you don't like Pa Ousman for how Pa Ousman look or how Pa Ousman carries himself or what he does or what he drives or how he speaks. and then you make stuff up about that person. If we don't know each other, let's not speculate. Let's endeavor to sit down and understand, because I'm curious about Pa Ousman, and that's why part of what I hear, because I'm part of the community, is, ordinarily I would never bring these questions up. But when Pa Ousman said, look, Ibrahima, you're welcome to ask me any question, I said, okay, that's the terrain of the conversation. I'll definitely put it out. So thank you for sharing that. But I'm really curious. Again, the little journalistic thing that you're inspiring me for is what is happening. What needs to be cleared with
the historically I have had a good relationship ntening association dating back to 2006 adun kanyi mem foye ngamolle to fo jande nko eta pa mane nyol nyininka nko eta Seydi Cissé nyol nyininka nko eta boy Fati nyol nyininka ani Surahata Fati nko eta Boubacar Diallo nyininka Nyilbela time when they were leading the organization nkanyi mem foye o watole ni collaborate pour ka nying artisol sambane jang pour ila watol teman trasteri jang nko e nga awodo dirale as this time back kanenu even as a full profit nga awodo dila as my customer of the year because of ye fengo fen soto siato jantel ka advertise nko e ko nge makoyle and give them ideas pour ye events all organize jang. The most successful kid event that was organized here back then, Boy Nyininka. Boy is no longer involved. Can you mel be for they are not involved now. I had that relationship. Bante amera kaso moment de birina tanga nying establish and nga message ol ki, email ol ki, nga letter ol sefen ko en lafitale nga doku dati. This is what I want to do. I mean adatita wolto. And alfa almel yen kinung e konyako itolle afoye ya mwele adu ye nyine foye. And problem o nyime ye nyime foteng exactly ko ha kodo meng itolle nyanta ka soto ika nyim ko problem o bedameng because was census kodo adatita wolto itol datek sense itol man census ku kalamuta itol man census ku okay iman doku ka bala they didn't know or aware of it, or even if they were aware they didn't do anything. I belong to a cohort of organizations, 23 of us that came together to form a coalition to apply for funding with the 2020 census, which was administered by C3 at the time. It was in the fiscal sponsorship at the time. By that time, I don't think I didn't have 501c3 or even Aninga Soto. I didn't have capacity. So I was just organizing events and getting reimbursed. I was coming up with creative ideas to inform the community about the 2020 census. Including Kata Jama. But bringing Alpha Lian Kumandi Ikonyako, Ikanyi Menketeng, Ibe Burukala Teninteng, that story I told you, it really kind of got me to almost stop.
Yeah.
Because man lafika buruka. I was a young person in my early 30s or mid 30s. Man lafika buruka. Man lafika tinya. Yang kumande yen sepu konye nima nyimbula itlebe burukala. Doli yen nkijane ya niye fenkela. They didn't even greet me, listen to me, or wait for me to say much. Eventually, they end up apologizing to me because they went and spewed things. Kodo soto ate ka feleja ka be Gambian ol kontila. Who is he? Pour ate Gambian ol konti. Erle ko be Gambian ol kontila. Nteman Gambian konti. A lot of the things we do, people cannot even distinguish. Okay, I have an outreach to do to spread the word about particular thing versus me doing that particular thing. I'm just the messenger purka kibaro futandalma. I have the means and the opportunity to actually do this. I have the means and the opportunity to actually do this. Nga connection o soto le, nga network o soto, nga strategy soto, and everything. I use that, and then I get reimbursed for those things. According to that it also. And of course, fast forward to so many other things that probably they hear about or apply in Masoto. They are applying Nasoto on other situations that they didn't ever apply for. Or programs I'm doing, and they want to do similar programs, one of which is the back to school, the other one is the end of year party. These are two major things. I don't interfere with the 4th of July. I wanted to do a Mother's Day event when I even sent them that thing, the very first thing for Merol Nimfenkol, but I had to let that go. A lot of these things go. And I've had conversations, very frank conversations with some of their previous presidents. starting from like I had a good relationship with those people. But since I started this conversation, one key person that I've engaged with frank conversation with about this is Jao Mane.
Yeah.
He can tell you this because Biringanying established, he was the president. Ask Jao all my things that I told him and how hard it was for us to even do that after school program together. Eventually, I had to just continue to do my event by myself. And I didn't because the problems were too many. I tried to work together with them to do it. It wasn't successful. The other person is Bintamane. Ask her. She would tell you these conversations we had. And the phrase I'm telling you, I've been very consistent in telling all of them. If two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. I've been very consistent in saying this to them. And I reach out. Until Bintamane reach out when the change of leadership happened. Because by the time I established this, I think Jao had just taken over. So Jaula Sanjipulod na it was a rough one. Another executive formal. At a Botaje, Binta took over. I was the one who reached out to Binta and told her how I wanted to work with them. That was also a rough working relationship. Wabotaje, Mahawa took over. That was also a rough one. Mahawa Botaje, Mo took over. And Mo was the one that sent me that flyer in September of last year. They are organizing an end of year party, which they never end up organizing. But because your flyers in the demand of problem, only if you know how many people reach out to me, party organized. It was last minute bring Tita Mole Yininka evento Allah evento meng alias Mole Yininka. If you remember at that event, Zanu announced we will do events here. Mambo Kalamako Fembe caring. Just to set the record straight. Some people ask me in that event, Albe Fenkela do New Year's Kana, Falbe Fenkela. I don't mind doing something. But Imalo Membe Keri. Zanu and Yininka, the same thing. And you can ask Zanu, you can ask Modu Musa. And I told them, I don't mind organizing something. Because Zanu, if you are available, we can do something. I have all the resources, everything it takes. Purka program organized. The only thing we will need to get is food. Everything else is available internally. January announcement, okay, I don't know if you remember.
I remember that, yeah.
At that event, Janu need the announcement.
I remember.
Before, as soon as the event ended, Janu nata en commanding loring anin DJ Mo Prince Mo konye Janu konye ko Prince Mo mune then am association bi dañoo def event. Mané ko oh really? Akonye ha. Nka ñi même foteng. Janu ñi ka Prince Mo ñi ka. Iba folele. Okay, then I'm a problem. We can let it go. We don't have to do anything. I have all it takes to be able to do it. No problem to sabotage. I would have organized something. And I have no doubt Koninga can be successful.
But
if two elephant fight is the grass that suffers. And can you remember for Atlanta, Birimbe Atlanta, Janimbe Bolaje, these were things that I was fighting. And the people can mail for because back then you have GAA, Gambia Family Association, GFA, and Ajera. GFA just came right around the time they started organizing this Mother's Day and of course some of the events during July 4 and Venko and New Year's party. You will both fail. Though be little bit more successful than the other, but you will both fail if you do it. Bring your resources together. It was tough. Eventually they did it. But I was advocating for that and they continue to do that and they both continue to fail. Because I was there, I'm part of the community. I hear the community. 1 year I remember, event also at the end of year party, New Year's Eve party. I know a couple mainly fund divide because GFF you don't invite, Ajera you don't invite. Husband Tatajan, Kewa Tatajana because Iman Lafi to be mad. Why would you put the community through that? I know people that went to this event for a couple of hours and went to the other event for a couple of hours because they wanted to satisfy both. $100 digila or 200 $300 dollar when they could have given that money albeit atala tema. I know people that went to one party and didn't go to the other party. So all these things are things that I have witnessed and seen. Salo memu saloti. I like to say things as they are. Then Imam Baye Nyol Bije, I don't can for Atlanta Cole will know this history. Imam Baye Beje, Alaji Yankuba Nyol Bije, Eka Salo Soto ni Salo Sota Bana Salo ni Sunkar Salo, Imam Baye Salo Kijana, Alaji Yankuba Salo Kijana. I was one of the people that was advocating and wish that they are sambanang together. Pur Bana Salo ni Sunkar Salo together so that the community is united. Mobe Fenke I be let the numbers be seen. because from my understanding, these are the reasons why they want these things to happen. We come together, ñu celebrate. We come together. The people, non-Muslims, see that we have a congregation, we have a community. Yenna jamaaje, they see the jama. It's part of it. But if we are divided, that's not unity. Eventually, when I left there, those things came together. And I would like to see Wol Yekijang, where conversations happen, we put our resources together and organize. I'm doing it with so many other organizations and so many other communities. Why would I not want to do it with my, Gambian community? But in Kanye Memfoe, Kumol Kafole, Akasia, distraction leke, and I did so much to try to reach out. I did so much to try to participate in their projects and their FENCO, but it's just not working. At some point, let me just, leave it at that. And this decision was made last year, and it was in a light decision. I cannot, ibe fen nomakang, iba nomakang until a mutatako, you have either a personal interest or you are so desperately in need of them and it that namanke, it is a succeed la. Even kanying COVID mem for it and bidding COVID nata, I have received money for the community. I brought up a task force, nga gramal include, nga icopniol include, ngetol include, but there was a lot of distraction trying to bring that together. I had no obligation to do that. I was just trying to sample where and how I can better spend these resources. And that was just $5,000, by the way. It wasn't even a lot of money. So there has been a lot of distractions, and with time from last year, in fact, I remember when my staff called me, ilafeta la 4th of July, to go there. An event that we go to annually, that we spend almost $2,000 or more, plus our soul melbe jona staff to go there and feed the community for 2 days, to provide different resources to the community, to entertain the community. I cover it na platform full benkawale use. Both the organization platform, all the staff come and work during those 2 days. Nkana staff will be schedule. Some come on both days, some not at 3 days, some they come the next day, some will come one day and others come the other day, some come both days. It was big for me and my staff to be there. And we fed people from beginning to end. Nga sajol sang, nga hamburger sang, nga ice cream sang, nga tubab sang, and other fenkol. And I remember this when the President Mahawa was taking over, in fact, which is what inspired this a lot. When she was taking over as president, one of her missions or priorities was to make sure that Melkana 4th of July, they don't expose to that, because menka kenunje kabudul leng adun ninka nyimem foni tonya antefana, it's all good. Ako kabudul le katara 4th of July, gunjur felejang, farafenye felejang, birkama felejang, mol kana ikela domorol sambanang ika landije, and they don't want to, people who don't have a community felt isolated and lonely, and she wanted to end that. And when I called her, I told her I wanted to help you to get that achieved, which is what led to me starting to talk with my staff, and we started going all out to get this done. I cut checks and give to them to donate in some instances, in addition to doing all of that. Then Gambian Talents Fana activate to do outreach for them, to promote it and showcase what is happening. But at the end of the day, fitna upon fitna. So from 2 years ago, they said that we have to pay for it. They said because we are a business, we are not a business, we are a non-profit. So we cannot, pay. We are coming to provide all these services and resources and feeding the community. We can do that. Can I cut a check and donate? I'm doing it for the Liberian community. Go and ask them. Other communities all be from Jang for Vancouver, can kumandile, Nika partnership also. We go there, we sponsor their events. We give them tables and chairs. It all fangol. We give them tables and chairs. Na sound system or sambanang. Na kujamal sambanang. ICOPS can tell you this. Salol Salimenka Kijang, except in Salikola, for the past years. Salol Meldeka Kijang. If you are there, you will see me at the Salikera and see my team that we set up the sound system. Menka use ye. Na sound system ole. We have the sound system that we give them for free. Bilal Islamic Center can tell you the same thing. Liberian Association can tell you the same thing. Nga sirangol dila, nga tabulol dila, nga fenkotengol dila. But even if they needed those things, it was a big deal. Sometimes it was around, ako fancy form of feel. Put a tabulol ni siyal dina. It's okay, we don't need it. We'll go rent it somewhere else. Wala nga nyo sabak kuola domorinde, fending all. So last year I was in Gambia when my staff called me, Koya, we receive an email about this because we have an event calendar from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And my media department tracks this thing. As days were leading to the event, my media person contacted them about the event, Ecofonsa Joof, all the businesses. They were charging businesses, and we told them that we are not a business, we are a non-profit organization, and we are coming to bring so much resources to the community. Ecofonsa Joof, I was mourning at the time and dealing with a lot of things. You guys can let it go. We don't have to do it. I mean, I happened to get back the day before the event, and I went to attend that 4th of July. I was mourning at the time, even if whatever the case is, but I came in as a person to support. But my organizational absence was felt, and I had people who really established that absence and the gap we created in terms of providing food and all the resources and phone call and events leading to the small contact calling so many times because people think that I'm part of it and I can organize this, or I mean I have answer questions and the like.
So looking back, I'm pretty sure it all at their own level. There are things that, in hindsight, that they could do better. I'm sure if they have some introspection, institutionally, they will understand that no one wins by doing things separately. When we come together, we can pull a lot more. Personally, though, is there anything that you look back on and you can reflect on and be like, okay, maybe I could have done this better in terms of how I interact with this organization? Even though the manner in which you interact with other West African associations is somewhat removed from the manner in which you interact with the different leaders of the Gambian Association. But if you look back, is there any moment maybe I could have done this better in terms of how I dealt with them, or maybe if I had put this in a better way, or maybe if I had reached out first, or maybe just there anything at all that you could look back on and be like, maybe that could have better our opportunity to work together than getting to this place where you made a conscious decision to say, I need to remove myself. If I cannot fix it, if I cannot contribute to what they're doing, then they should not also take away from what I'm doing. Because from what I'm hearing, I understand that's the position that you are at right now.
Yes. Abedamende, moment timmade. Barinte fe, I did all that I could. And ngamen for a command to drunk kunumbe jonkonkono. Because fenne ketajang for the protection and privacy of the family. I don't want to get into that. It's a very difficult moment. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get into what happened. Whereas ntenitol fango mang directly interact about the particular issue, but it affected the family. Concern. Kunun nenyin keta. And I am dimim bake. Mbeku kan jonkon kono. I will find time to call Sister Sona na idiam. Amanyan na dan nga nyoje mol kono drong nga nyo kontrenten drong ay danje. But in tefe, I have done my part. Nko nga letterol sefe janimbe nyin datila. When nga na 501c3 apply, nga mira janimba even sotola. The first thing I did, they were one of the first organizations nga mel sefe pour que contact to reintroduce the organization. And I have these letters come nga mem foye. And this was Bintala time. I think, or Jaumane. No, Jaula time them actually. Because when Binta came, I think I told them. But I introduced my organization and said, this is who we are. We have a long relationship with Allah previous leadership. Because some of those people who are leading, we are in here at the time. Binta Binasia Jandam in 2005, 2006, what a lot of those people were in here. So I gave them a historical perspective. With this leadership, this year, now that Alton in charge, Lafitaka establishment or relationship or established. Mbella filale pour collaboration okay. Now the event calendar soto ala fonyensa jibensa support nyameng. Pour nimfana lafita feng organized and kana I don't even touch you the dates and times that you have. But also mbella filale nale meeting o soto pour nga singa kacha nga jibensa strength nyameng. Alkonya ko ntel man lafi kaoke ntel ya jele ko I mean nying evento comme ngamen fo calendar mume be sango kono. Ko ka eventual organized throughout the calendar kono. Which na sanji tango men ngake jang because 2015 nen nata jang sanji tango men ngake jang I didn't see them organize those events. Dol niya organized. It was inconsistent. Nina niya organized Jarita organized that, including even ila biggest event o memo 4th of July. There are times that they missed organizing them or skipped them. So there was no consistency. Program. There are some that do happen for the most part, but there are some that are skipped. There are some that are organized in a market. But I let go of all of those things and created other things on other days that are completely independent. And I've initiated conversations with them. Ko entele meeting Jamal Menketa ni temantela initiate.
Yeah.
Intela initiate. Not it all young commandi, but intele ke commandi ka fo nga nyin ka wala lafta nga nyin neke. Yusufa Bojan can tell you something about this. When he was vice president, I had lots of conversations with him about this. You can ask Yus. Wala na nyin lamoy ngalo ne ko maybe they follow you. Na nyin lamoy abalon ne ko ngam kanyi memfo. I did have this conversation with him long time, multiple times. And all the leadership ngam nyimem for eteng, whether Jawleng, whether Bintaleng, whether Mahawaleng, Sona Damma, and even more. Sona is the one person that I haven't had that much Malon Numfanko change of leadership ketale for recently. I think Malon Mune Ketanu Dembanyola Dulato, and yeah, introduced the pride Yamoke for UDP Pinkola Nalembang or whatever. That's when I actually learned that she was the new president, but I didn't know. But in a Melbe long, I reached out to them. I conversed with them. I told them how my office doors were open and how I wanted to work with them. And let me even say this too, because I'm here. It's not only here, because Vancouver Jang is part of Washington. And we do so much for the community there, the other Senegalese holding other soul, with Gambian organization. Since the establishment, I've also tried to establish as much relationship as possible there, Fana, because other community members, we are a statewide agency and we provide services. We do a lot of it. But I want to give credit to, let's say, Surah. When Surah came, Surah Somare as the president, he reached out. Yeah. And during his term, we have done so much work together in supporting that organization. When they have their Independence Party event, or in Ramadan, we did iftar, and we also paid rents and services for other people. And through their connection, the Senegalese community also started reaching out to us for different things. We activate the whole 9 yards. Nga staff ol samba nga bungol taji, nga sound system o samba, nga holo jo. We pay the food, 100% of the event expenditures we take care of for them to organize events. He's done a great job, and until now, he's even trying to, he reached out not long ago for us to collaborate and see how we can do some workshops about this cyber security, which work he's doing. So leadership is very important in stuff, whereas prior to him, we've tried to reach out to the leadership. There was a lot of hesitation and excuses and stuff as the things didn't happen. I don't know why. I'm not going to get into it. But after him as well, that has also, I would say, go down the drain or is not as active as it used to be. And Nimbesil and Kanyaton Koyafo, that's where it comes in. Leadership is always important in a lot of the things, because the policies of the leader, the beliefs of the leader, and other things can actually shape how things go and where things go. Nyaja America Benjamin signed with immigrants and how it was, because this current administration is against immigrants and anti-immigrants. When the previous administration was pro-immigrants, you can see how the dynamics change. So depending on which side of the aisle the leader is, that can have a long, history. But it can really be improved. Do I like it? Njuso kono honey. But it more melka mela nafaka people who suffer. End up not benefiting, who could have benefited, yes, who suffer as a result of this unpleasant relationship that in hindsight will look like all is well when it is not. I'm sure they have their side of the story, but whatever I'm saying here, to the best of my ability, I have tried to engage them in writing. I have tried to engage them verbally. I initiated a lot of these things. I have gone above and beyond in trying to give out, activate the resources that we have to support them, like we are doing with other organizations. In some instances, handing it all my initiate fund, but it just didn't yield any dividend. And I've concluded, and I've shared this with some of them. When last year, Yusuf and Command or year before last, whatever they wanted, and I said it, we cannot continue to have this where we continue to activate all our resources and support your programs, your events, and Fenco, and Albert Duma Buruka to sabotage, to undermine, to, say a lot of things.
Yeah.
And man love to get into the pettiness of this,
Yeah.
really, but it's a big concern that I think the conversation should be had.
Yeah.
Because I
Absolutely.
repeat again, nga fole sinya sabanani, if two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffer. And here the community is the grass. And it's good to have this conversation.
No, for sure. 100.
Malong, whether I will call them before you publish this, or it will be after you publish it, whether they will honor the invitation or not. But I'm on record and promising that yes, I will contact them, because I thought about it yesterday, based on what happened yesterday and other instances. I want to contact them to break that silence with Sona's time, because to her credit, conversation also. Sister Sona, good relationship lebe Natema. I knew her way back when I moved here early. It was Wali Sambananjang the first time. She was part of that group. That's when I knew her. We've always had a good relationship. Brother Pa, Sister Fenko. In fact, the first program Omenga organized from back to school, I think she was very supportive of that. And we gave prizes, including computers that were won by several families and the like. So now a good relationship all along. But sometimes menkake I and wofana kan jakal do. I have a good relationship with somebody outside, independent person that is an ordinary Gambian member senior kon nibe nyame. Ida taraje wrong, I see a completely changed person. I'm good with EB. We have a good relationship, brother, sister, or whatever, and we can greet, can fenke, and everything is normal. But here dundulato wrong, then I see a completely different person based on information. Come here, meeting all in fact, even if they have a WhatsApp group, I'm telling you, I'm not in that WhatsApp group. I used to be, but from 3-4 years ago, I don't get the messages anymore. I don't know what happened. But I'm no longer in any platforms that they have, and this could be verified too.
And I mean, personally, a lot of what I hear, honestly, Pa Ousman, I think there's a lot of, miscommunication, and also, just people not going out of their way just to reach out. Sometimes I think that's all it takes, because at the end of the day, in Tolube, the vision is the same. How we get there is the difference, right? And so to be at our own bubble, like at our own silo, and have certain understanding of what is happening, which is in fact different from what's going on, sometimes is the problem, right? And I hope that, again, just to emphasize that it's important for us to collaborate, it's important for us to communicate. And I know a lot of them that work in association. I worked very briefly with them, I think like 2 months, and then I resigned because I was then starting my program at the University of Washington. And then since then, I've not been involved with them in any executive capacity. I just like community. Like, you know that about me. I just like going to help. I love doing stuff like that. But Pa Ousman, I'm gonna wrap that up, that part of the conversation, because we're into almost 2 hours of this chat. We can go on and on. Kachabi diaring. But in love I feel like a kumaya baba kele. And again, I appreciate you allowing me to ask all these questions, because I think it is important. You are a public figure. You own a big platform on social media. You own a big nonprofit here in Washington, in the United States. And so that also comes with a lot of
the platform on social media, I will say, but I want to correct the non-profit I don't own. Nobody owns a non-profit.
Well, you founded it. That's the credit. We have to give the credit to you. You founded it. You had the vision and you founded it. And you have a great team. We'll give the credit to the team too. You have an incredible team of staff that you work with, including volunteers as well. But the point I want to make it, that brings you into a lot of public eye and attention. And sometimes whatever you do is viewed at a lens that if you are not in this public sphere, that you would not have been viewed at that level. Right. So there's a lot of scrutiny that comes with it. So recently, and this is probably an uncomfortable conversation, but I'll have to ask. Your wife passed away, and I'm sorry. May her soul, God bless her soul, and I pray that God gives her the best place in Jannah and have mercy on her soul, and all other individuals who pass. And then her passing was, received very sympathetically from people across the Gambian society. But I do also think that at the end of the day, you are the spouse, you are the husband of the person who passed away, and there is nobody else who can understand the length of that pain but you, and how you manifest that. I think that's your subjective decision. But I think what followed after her passing is a lot of social media criticisms and attack on your personality for how you handled that situation, right? And I'm just curious, looking back, is there anything about that situation that you would have done differently in terms of how you publicly handle yourself in terms of how the camera constantly being with you, because part of what the people said is you can mourn, you can cry, but does it have to be with the camera all the time? And I think that was a tough part for a lot of people. How was that experience like for you? I mean, that's a really tough moment, and I just want to emphasize that. But is there anything that specifically that you would have done differently in terms of how you handle the situation?
Nimba kela sama, nimma kanyama, bala falale. I would not change a single thing. And I have no regrets doing anything that I did and still continue to do. Ni dunia be lafita yembula. Ngafale, I wrote it in my messages. Because Tubabol Kole, he who feels it knows it. Menketa, mbetembo mento until this minute. I'm trying to be strong and life has to go on. Dari ngafo nyaming in all the messages that I did. Whether ngamen sefelem, wala ngamen folem, nkole ko, mbemem baluka, madwa moye. What I'm living, I don't wish it for anybody. Namuso nindingole fata. And yeah, for nyamente public figure, and I certainly don't dispute that. I understand the magnitude of this. Just last week, Malong Namune Dundi on social media. I just picked up my phone to do something, and notification came in. Mbuloya Ma. It was somebody who commented or liked a post I put out 7 hours prior. And I saw 100 and it went to the dashboard and the stats. This is on my personal page. And I saw 140 something thousand people viewing this in 7 hours. Nsitam fang mambafu. Ndem fanyi nkala. And nkam miral jama kele, I do a lot of thinking too when I'm in the bathroom, when I'm taking a shower. I'm like, what interest do 147,000 people have in my life? I don't think I am connected to that many people. Ngalone, my network is vast for both Gambia and Jang. And the proof of this is Sangomen Keta Kunung. By the time I shared the GoFundMe on all the platforms that I did in less than 45 minutes, over $3,000 was donated towards that. It was at 3,000 and change, and by the time I did it, an extra less than an hour, an extra $3,000 was donated. I don't even check to see how much it is today and everything. So ngalo ne ko mol ben no makanne, and everything that happened was calculated. Ninte fangolem. That's number one. Number two, do kudo lel bije melia lonko ngani momenti for janimbe fala neneta fola because we've been in fatule tema, and even on this platform I wouldn't share them. But some of the things mbemen kekan mba kekan atele and not for modo. Number two, Fatu was there as a public figure. Yaje mo Jamal public figures. Mel Banta Gambia. She went out at a Fangole Tata Ayela Sangol cover. And we can see the coverages that she did. Whether Dole believe a Palukang for Ilasaya Kola. I think Ning Hakilo the last funeral she probably covered was either Sida Job, may he so rest in peace, or I don't know who. But he's had interviews with them at a Lumfidef Shoto and Bering Ibantafana. She did coverages. Fatu has produced documentaries through, of course, my initiative with others. We created documentaries for people like Biri Biri, Alasango Kola, for people like Musa Afiangom, Ilasango Kola, and several other public figures whose life we wanted to document. And for that reason, her life needed to be chronicled. Ndafita fula dunia ya atemujumalti. So camera almel bejeta, it was in every single time, or every single one of them, that were championed by me. Ntetara dawo dranding. I'm expecting Molben Tala Daming. Kunun drong or kunun ko. I stumbled on a video that actually, if you go to Modu Job, he's one of my the Melbe Doko Kanye Gambia. He shared a video of Mimben Donkan Daming. I think this was Jenaba Dabola, the award ceremony that was done on behalf of Jenaba last year or something. I was there dancing. And Modu shared that. People cut this video and circulated it on social media. Nyamwali Concerto Menjos Potala Amami, people cut my videos. Every time people cut my videos, whether Janneng or Gambia, people see me places, they take pictures and videos of me, regardless of what I'm doing. And as a result, I try to be as careful as possible. Purka jibe mbe menkela and what I wouldn't do. And I don't ever censor anyone except you want to disrespect me. Because ntafangu journalist and I respect the field and I respect people that are doing it honorably, humbly, and asking questions. You are the first person who is asking me about these things. And I told you at the beginning that I'd never run away from any interviews. It doesn't matter what it is. The toughest guy that Mobeke Borino Menawale Kafenke Gambia was pandering by, he interviewed me. Tawo interviewed Jube, Saj Pa Ousman Joof interviewed Pamo Nderi, and you see it. Because Mandinka ka for men na niman kuke kutela. I have nothing to hide in terms of what I do, or I'm not trying to be perfect. I wouldn't say I'm perfect or blowing my own trumpet, but I try as much as possible to do things right. So Nimfa to Temo, Mbemembe Kekan, part of the footages that came out were to take to produce the documentary, some of which are things Mele Alonko Aedung and Janning Fatu Bebanna, for example, or Biol Melngedundi, which raise the most attention. Ala outfit sol ana bungo longo men nan tata kala bungo park. Molmang men lonko, she was planning a photo shoot because ala heo lungo among wo Biol dunno. O ibe ayesan ne ame dunno. Ayedol dung, but he never had pictures with them. Akoni salo banta lafita la photo shoot kela to have those memories. Ama keno. And musol mu musol leti. Momo ya long isa long ko hajantale. Bayol dol bije mulla swala. They gave it to her as their brand ambassador, and Fatmata Joma Kamara is one of those people who was always supporting her and other people. Jamal Bije, people gave her stuff. And she does outreach for them, publicity. Kawol Yita. Memory Jamal Lel Bije, Fen Jamal Lel Bije, Alafita Menkela Num Amam Menke. And Ekonimo Fata, Alafita Ku Betrol Menna. And I know this is subjective depending on who is interpreting it. And I'm okay with people interpreting things how they want. I am very okay with that. You never saw me responding to anybody directly, Mele attack directly, Mele Kumol for Mele independent fan call for. Even my own platform were actually writing this. Dindingol at some point were fearful, and I had to tell them, I really don't mind. Ask Musa Jata, who is the current country coordinator, ask anybody at works at Gambian Talents. They were trying to avoid to post things about me. You cannot do this for other people and other platforms and leave me out of it. You can choose to put whatever you need to, as long as albe memfo kama tonyaleng fanianteng is not fabricated, it's no lies, it's facts and stuff that you see out there or you know or you cover by yourselves. I'm okay with it. So molbe memfo kama, it's their opinion. But ntebe membalukang until this minute ngalonne.